plant friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about my top 5 easiest philodendron. And you're probably like, Ashley, you only have lots of expensive, rare, or uncommon philodendron, and how are those easy to take care of? Well, let me tell you, okay? Oh, by the way, I have my list here so that I don't get distracted. Let me tell you, philodendron are a pretty easy species. We're gonna go backwards from 5 to 1. 5 being the bottom of the list, but like my top 5, right? And then my top 4, my top 3, my top 2, and my top 1, until we get to number 1. Also, I decided to do my hair down, and I can't decide if it's something that, I don't know. I like it when my hair is really long, and it's not like long yet, it's medium. Let's just stick with it. Okay, number 5, that's 10. Number 5, Philodendron Billy Tie. This is Philodendron Billy Tie. He's got an old leaf right here. Let's just take that guy out. He's got a big, nice new leaf coming in right there. This is his newest leaf. I have another Billy Tie right here. Oh, just hit my grow light. These guys are rooting because they had root rot and I had to cut off all their roots. So now they are growing new ones. I also have 2 more Billy Tie down there in my greenhouse. I had a 5th one, but I decided to do a giveaway and do the Billy Tie. So we're gonna start with the pros. The reason that the Billy Tie is number 5 on my list is because it will literally tolerate any light condition that you give it. You could put it in low light for probably a month before it would really start to suffer. It definitely wouldn't grow unless it was in like 100% humidity with like lower light. That would still grow, because I honestly feel like light and humidity is a sliding scale, and if you have bright light and bright humidity, a lot of humidity, that's gonna be great. But if you have like less than one or the other, like they kind of even each other out, I guess. Another good reason is because they root super fast. These guys have only been rooting for, well, they rooted in a week. I still have them in there because I want them to root more before I plant them, but they're rooted. They will grow at a good rate in 40% humidity and above. For most people, 40% humidity is the humidity that's already in their house or is a very easily achievable humidity level with a humidifier. A cool thing about Billy Tie is that they're a plant that will really bend towards the light. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a plant you're gonna wanna rotate. It's not necessarily like a pro because it's, you know, extra work that you have to do, but it's really fun to like, I don't know, let them just kind of keep bending. Like Alocasia frydek bend on a daily basis, so you kind of have to rotate them every day. These guys are bending down because their light source is down low, but if their light source was up high, they would just stand right back up. Billy Tie will curve their leaves. You can see almost all of these leaves are over here. It's because the light is over here. Same thing with these ones, but they will sometimes turn their whole leaf like that in order to get to the light, which is, I don't know, I think it's cool. Another cool thing about Billy Tie is that you can do full hydro, semi-hydro, or no hydro, which is soil, and it will survive. Okay, just let's talk about roots for a second, because I feel like this is important. If you root something in water, it will have water roots, which basically means that they don't have end caps. End caps are something that are developed on soil roots, or semi-hydro, if your semi-hydro has like kind of chunky like orchid bark in it, to absorb nutrients from the soil. Plants get root rot when those end caps like get infected because it's too wet, and then that rot spreads up the whole root, basically. So if you grow your plant in water, in only water, it will just keep growing in water forever unless you put it in soil, and then it will adapt to soil. The last reason is that this plant is beautiful anywhere. It's beautiful anywhere in your house. It does great anywhere. It has these beautiful leaves with these red trims and these orange petiole. The new leaves come out this beautiful lime green color. And they're so full. They're great. I love them. They're my 5th easiest, I would rank it 5th easiest philodendron. If you really want the thing to grow though, you gotta give it like 80% humidity, and that's gonna be like popping out new leaves for you. But there are some cons to Billy Tie. Billy Tie are absolutely not cost effective. These are almost anywhere you go, pretty expensive plants. Even in other countries where other plants like The Alocasia silver dragon, which costs hundreds of dollars in the United States, only costs $5 to $10 in some European countries. The Billy Tie pretty much costs a lot of money anywhere in the world. So it's an expensive plant, but if you can get your hands on it, it's pretty easy. Another con with the Billy Tie is that it's hard to find. You can't really walk into a plant store and find a Billy Tie unless you're going into a rare plant shop like Peace, Love, and Happiness Club in Seattle. They're the only shop I think I've ever been to in person that has more rare plants than common plants in their store. The last con I have on this list is that it only really grows fast in high humidity. A Billy Tie will stay alive in almost any humidity condition unless you're getting down to like 0 to 25%. It's gonna start fading on you. But yeah, like it'll stay alive in almost any humidity condition, but it won't grow like fast. In the 40% condition, it will probably put out a new leaf like every month and a half to 2 months, versus an 80% to 100%, and you're probably gonna get a new leaf every 2 weeks. The fourth plant on this list is the Philodendron Pink Princess. Here is one of mine. I do have 2 of these guys. This is one that I got in a trade, but I will put her link on the bottom of the screen because she's always wanting to do trades and swaps, and she sells her plants a lot, and they're rare plants too. So if you ever want, you know, a rare plant, you can hit her up. But I traded with her, and this is mine, just so that you can see what it is. Do not let the name scare you. This plant is so easy. I don't even touch it. To be fair, I do keep it in 80 to 90% humidity, so it's like, you know, business is booming. Even my mom, who has hers, it really just grows like anywhere. It's so easy. It definitely will curve towards the light. So if you don't have a good light source, try to like move it to a brighter spot in your house. But yeah, it's a really easy plant to grow, really. Philodendron Pink Princess tolerates medium and high light. That's really where it's gonna wanna be. Honestly, the brighter the light, the more pink you're probably gonna get. This thing will also grow in 40% humidity. You'll probably get a new leaf. I don't know, if it's on a bigger plant, it'll take more time, but on a smaller plant like mine, I have an immature, which I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I personally prefer immature forms of plants, not just because they're smaller and easier to take care of, but I just like the leaf shape better usually on immature plants, unless it's like a pedatum, you know, where it doesn't look like anything. But yeah, this thing will grow in lower humidity, so honestly anyone can have one. The last pro on this list is that it has a beautiful color. In case you didn't see it, some of these are just bright pink. Where do you ever see that on almost any other plant? Usually you just don't. Sometimes you'll have like dull pink on plants, but this is just extraordinary. The only cons I could think of for the Pink Princess is that it is expensive and hard to find. This plant is in such high demand right now. I would say this plant, the variegated Monstera deliciosa or Borsigiana, and their Phytophora tetrasperma really seemed to be the plants of 2019. I'm excited to see what plants we have in 2020 that like really blow up, but I honestly think that those 4 plants are really gonna stick around for a couple of years. So it's hard to find and it's just expensive. I was lucky to trade this, so I didn't have to pay any money for it, but I have paid $80 for one before, and then I did pay $40 for a smaller one. Moving on to plant number 3, the Philodendron Painted Lady. When it's down, I can't stop touching it. I'm sorry, I know it's probably so distracting. Here's my painted lady. She's a little tall. I've had this, since the very beginning. I don't know if it's focusing because I can't see, but this guy is amazing. Very easy to propagate, as you can see. He grows like roots that actually stick off like crazy. This is the last leaf that happened before I decided to put it in my greenhouse, because I was like, the leaves are just coming out so small. Put it in my greenhouse, and these last 2 leaves have happened in the last 2 weeks. We're doing about 1 leaf a week right now, which is insane. So my pros for this is that it really will grow in almost any humidity level at any light level. The only reason that mine was doing so bad is because in the winter, my living room gets pretty much no light, even though it's a west-facing window. Just like almost no light, and there's almost no humidity out there. I have such big windows that all of the heat leaves so the temperature's low, and it just was not doing good out there. I don't know, if I'm being completely honest, this thing, if you have like good light, regular household humidity, and a regular warm household temperature, this thing will grow anywhere in your house. Another amazing thing about this plant is that it's always variegated. You are never going to lose this patterning. It'll always be there. So if you're looking for a stable plant with stable variegation, this is a great one for you. Also, sometimes we get these. Another pro with this plant is that it grows really big in high humidity. If I can find a picture, I'll put it right here. But yeah, the leaves will get super big. I don't know, and it's just beautiful. Why wouldn't you want to have one of these? Reed's here.
No, she's waiting.
Why can't she come in?
I told her to come in.
Hello, wow, your hair looks so good. This is my best friend, Reed. You've seen her, you don't have to shrink. Here, I'll help you out. Add some height for you. There you go, now you can really stand. You make me look so small. We're gonna go get ramen after this. Okay, Reed, get out.
Okay, bye.
Sick, we're back. Okay, the only con I have for this plant is that it is more expensive. Oh, let me fix the frame. Some places charge in the hundreds. If you can find a good retailer, like I waited until I could find one that was really affordable. All right, the second plant on this list is one of my absolute favorite plants. It is the Philodendron Camposportoanum. In Portland, I have a couple of these. And you're like, Ashley, that's a Micans. No, I'll show you a Micans. Here's a Micans. Here is Camposportoanum. I know, they look so similar. This plant is amazing. This is a color-changing, super morphing aroid. So as it gets bigger, it will lose its velvetiness and its color. You can see that this one actually has a red color to it. This one actually has it's holding extra water in its leaves, but it's okay. That's not really bad for it. But it's very velvet. It's very soft. It grows so fast, and the aerial roots always grow really well. One of the best things about this plant is that it tolerates absolutely any light condition you throw at it. I've chucked this thing in dark corners sometimes and just kind of like, you know, give another plants the spotlight for a little bit, and it still grows. It still grows so well. I mean, all of this is new right here. It used to just be this plant, and then it shot out that, and I was like, okay, I see you. This plant will grow fast in 30% humidity and up. So if you gave it a lot of humidity, this thing would explode. It would also get really big and change its form and everything. But I prefer the immature shape, so I purposefully avoid giving it extra humidity. And I just give it its, you know, oh, we're getting a new friend right here. See that? Look at the inchworm Reed. Love that. So it's getting a new leaf. She's trying so hard not to laugh. But this thing will grow fast in 30% humidity and up, which is amazing because not many philodendron do that. One other thing I've noticed with this plant is that it almost never wilts from thirst. A lot of philodendron will kind of like, you can feel them when they're thirsty and they feel frail, like they could just kind of like tear at any second. But this one I've noticed, like I've gone 4 weeks, a whole month without watering this plant before, and it's just like chilling. So I mean, it wasn't like super happy, but it definitely wasn't anywhere near dying. So this is a plant you can have if you leave your house a lot. And then the last really cool thing about this plant, I kind of already talked about, but this thing does get really nice color. It will have leaves that will turn pretty much fully red. I don't have any on this plant here, but it's a really pretty one, and it's really nice to touch too. The only 2 cons I can think about this plant is that it won't morph in low humidity. So if you want one that's gonna morph and change shape, here's a mature one, by the way, right there. If you want that, then this, you gotta have high humidity, but that's like an easy fix, you know, like if you want it to morph, just give it more humidity and a totem. And then the other con, which is the biggest, is that I don't know anyone that has sold this except for a houseplant collector named Christiana, or at Jungle Portland Northwest on Instagram. I found one at a Gerton's one time, The ones that I got from Christiana were $5. So they're hard to find. I've almost never even seen them sold on the internet, and usually eBay sellers for plants like this that are really, really, really hard to find are absolutely not going to, you know, have a moderate cost. It's going to be expensive. So the last plant on this list I just showed you, which is the Philodendron Micans. Mine is definitely in need of a haircut. She's getting really long. Here is kind of like a close-up, I guess. It's a velvet aroid. This one I paid $10.95 for at Marbit's Nursery in Portland. This plant is so great. It is small and compact, so you can pretty much put this thing wherever you want in your house. And if you wanted to buy a big plant, like to take up more space, they're super easy to find at almost any houseplant shop. Is that they're very colorful and velvety. When you shine the light through them on the backside, the leaves turn red, which is, I mean, only in that light, but it looks really pretty. So these are cost effective. These used to be pretty expensive. I guess everyone that's, I mean, I don't have experience with that because I just joined the houseplant community last March, but I guess these used to be pretty heckin' expensive, and now they are everywhere and not expensive. So super easy to take care of, cost effective, velvet. They're colorful, and the best thing, they tolerate and grow fast in any humidity level. I've kept these things in a humid environment and I didn't really see too much of a difference in how fast they grew, which is pretty great because not everyone has the ability to give their plants over 70% humidity. So to be able to have something like this that is small, can fit anywhere in anyone's house. If you want a bigger one, you can easily find them, and it's honestly timeless. This thing is beautiful. Who doesn't love a velvet philodendron? And the reason why this plant is at the top of my list as number one is because there are no cons. There's not a single thing I can think of about this plant. It's so easy to propagate. It roots in like 5 days, like actually. And it's amazing. So everyone should own one of these. And this is the number one plant on my top 5 easiest philodendron list. Well, thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna go eat ramen. Please make sure to like, subscribe, tweet me at PlantMeAshley. Please make sure to turn on the notification bell and tell me which one of these plants is your favorite, or if you have other philodendron that you think should have been on this list, make sure that you let me know what those are. If you guys have any questions about your plants, please make sure to hit me up on Instagram at PlantMeAshley. And yeah, I'll see you in the next houseplant video. Bye!